What up, donkeys? Jack Haze here with JackAce.com, and I'm here with lesson 5 of how to solve the Rubik's Cube in the easiest way. When we left off, we left the cube in this configuration. We had the white face solved, and on the bottom we had the yellow X, and attached to that yellow X were all the colors of the attached sides. So we have X's on 5 sides, and the solved white face. This is where we left off. You should be able to get to this configuration. And after today's lesson, we should be able to get to this configuration. That is with the white face solved and the yellow face solved. So the two opposite sides solved. This is a little bit unconventional. If you've done other Rubik's Cube tutorials, typically you want to do the top and then the middle layer, and then you do the bottom last. This is the way I learned over 40 years ago, so it probably isn't the most conventional way of learning, but we're gonna do it this way anyway. So I'm gonna scramble up this cube. This is what your cube might look like if you have the yellow X solved on the bottom and all the X's on the other sides. So you should still have the white side solved, but the 4 yellow edges may be scrambled in various places around the cube. So now the object is to get each of these 4 edge pieces into the right orientation in the right area on the bottom face. The way we're going to do that is we're going to pick one of the 4 edges on the white face and we're going to break it apart. And that is going to be our working area. And then we're going to use fish and catch, as we learned in the first 2 lessons, to place the yellow pieces where they need to go. So we're going to look for the 4 yellow edge pieces that need to go on the bottom. There's actually one on the bottom in the wrong area. Here is one other, yellow and orange. Here is another, yellow and blue. And here is yellow and green. Let's look at the yellow and orange for now. We know that needs to go here. And when we start doing this, you want to keep the yellow face on the top. And let's start with this edge piece here, the yellow and orange. We know it needs to go here. So let's actually move it out of the way. And then we're just going to drop the yellow face, catch the fish, and pull it back in. Right? So now this is in the right area. The yellow and orange piece is in the right area because it is between the 2 orange corner pieces. But when we did that, we broke apart one white piece. And now whenever we want to move another piece to the yellow face, we want to put this broken piece under the target area. So let's say we want to move this yellow and green edge to this edge piece here. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this broken area underneath it. So if I put my finger on the bottom and thumb on the top, this broken piece is under our target area. And what we're going to do is fish and catch. So we're going to drop down and fish. We're going to catch that yellow and green piece where we need to catch it, and we're going to move it back into place. So now we have 2 edge pieces where we want them to go. And we still only have 1 broken edge piece on the bottom. So we are 2/3 of the way there. Let's look at this yellow and red piece. Where does that need to go? Here. So we're going to actually put that underneath. And this one's actually going to be really easy because when we go down to fish, that fish can catch the bait and get dragged back up on top. So now we have 3 solved yellow edges and we have 3 solved white edges. And to get the last 2 pieces, now we want to solve the yellow and white pieces at the same exact time. We want to put that broken edge underneath our target edge. And what we want to do is when we pull down the yellow side, we want to make sure the yellow and the white edges are opposite each other. So right now you'll see if I drop this down, here's that white piece and here's the yellow piece. If I drop this yellow piece down, you'll see that those 2 pieces that we want are in fact on opposite parts of the cube. And what we can do is move them into place. We actually got lucky. Sometimes it's not this easy, but what you need to do is solve those 2 pieces at the same time, and that's what we did. And that's how you solve the 2 opposite faces. This is all we are learning here in lesson number 5. And let's look at a couple other scenarios now. Let me scramble up the cube again. So I did some scrambling. We're back into a situation where we have 3 yellow pieces scattered around. We have 1 on the bottom that's in the wrong area. And let's just pick an edge and put it where it needs to go. So we're going to put yellow on the top. This piece needs to go here. We can drop this. We're going to go fishing and move that piece where it needs to go. You can see we have 3 blues. Pull it back up to the top. And now we've solved this edge. and we've only broken apart one piece from the white face. So next, let's look at this yellow and green piece. We want to move this broken area underneath the target. We're going to move this out of the way a couple times, drop it down, catch it, and reel it in. We still only have one broken piece on the bottom. And now let's do yellow and orange. That's easy. We just drop, fish catches the bait, and bring it back up. So now this is a little bit more of a tricky situation because now we see yellow and white are on the same face. I've already put the white broken piece underneath where it needs to go. But now we need to get a situation where these are on opposite edges of the cube. Basically, you should be able to clamp your fingers down on two edges, two opposite edges, and you should be touching a yellow and a white. So we need to get into that situation. In order for us to do that, we can pull this down and remove one of those two pieces and then store the yellow in a face that won't be touched. The point is to break apart those two pieces, have them move independently, because if they're just on the same middle plane, they're going to keep moving together. They're always going to be staying together, and that's something we don't want. So now that we can move this thing independently of the white, we can orient it in such a way that when we break out the yellow, we're touching both the yellow edge and the white edge. And now we're in a position where we can put them in the correct place, and that's what we did here. And now we've solved the two sides again. So the important part of this lesson is to break apart the white face. After you destruct what you've built, you just want to keep using that space so you're not destroying other solved pieces. So you always keep that broken piece under the target of where you want the next piece to go. The broken white is going to be under the target yellow. And then once you've gotten 3 yellows in place and you have 3 whites in place, you basically have 2 W's, or you have 2 U's, however you want to look at it. You orient the 2 U's together so that the 2 holes, the 2 broken pieces, are on the same plane. They're on the same edge. And then you want to get the white and yellow on opposite edges so that when you clamp down your 2 fingers, you're touching both a white and a yellow. So let me mess up the yellow again, and we'll try this one last time. So we're going to do this one last time. I gave it another scramble. Here's a situation where we have no edges on the yellow face. We have 2 edges along this middle layer, and we have 2 edges on the bottom layer, but they are flipped around. So from here, let's start solving the yellow side. Let's look at this edge piece. It's yellow and green. It needs to go here. We're just going to move it out of the way, drop a line, fish catches the bait, and reel it in. And now we have a broken piece on the white face. The next piece we're going to go for is yellow and blue. So we're going to put this under the blue edge right here. And this needs to get dropped down, fish catches the bait, reel it in. Now we have the last 2 pieces, yellow and red, and yellow and orange. But we're not going to be able to put this in place until we break it apart first. So we're going to put this broken piece under where we need to pull it out from. We're going to pull it out, and we're going to flip this around, catch it on the backside, reel it in. And now we have these W's, right? I don't know if they're W's or U's. Here's a W. Here's a W, where you just look at it as a fat U. When you're in this situation, you put the broken pieces underneath each other. Your goal is to get yellow and white on the opposite face, opposite each other. So we're going to have to do this in several steps because both of the pieces we need are along the top and bottom planes. So we're going to break apart the yellow piece first, and then we're going to break apart the white piece. And now we have those 2 pieces on opposite sides of the cube. We're going to break it apart again. We still have these 2 open pieces opposite each other on the yellow and the white faces. And our goal is to get yellow and white on opposite edges, not on this face. So they are on this face. That is good. We're going to pull down the yellow so it's on the face with the white edge. We're going to move this middle piece around twice, pull it back up, and now we've solved the white and yellow face. And that is the end of lesson 5. So what's great about this lesson is that we have not learned any new moves. All we did is reuse what we learned with the fishing and catching method. There's nothing new that we learned in terms of maneuvers that have to be memorized. All we learned was that we have to break apart part of the white face, and then keep that under the place where we want to target on the yellow face. So hopefully this lesson is easier than the previous 2 lessons where we had to learn 2 pretty difficult maneuvers. I promise you, if you got past the last 2 lessons, it's pretty much a cakewalk from here on out. Hopefully you found this lesson very easy. Since you should be able to get to this phase pretty easily, hopefully you'll get a lot of practice solving the yellow and white faces. So for your homework, you need to be able to get to this configuration pretty easily. If you're not, you're just gonna have to keep practicing. Let me know how you're progressing through this lesson so far. Let me know if there's anything I'm explaining in a difficult way. Let me know if there's anything that needs clarification. This is the last time we're going to be using this magic cube. From here on out, we're going to be using a speed cube with all the colors on all the faces, because that will be the first time we need to use it. With the next lesson, you will be able to solve the cube. There's only 2 more moves that you need to learn, and they're both very easy to memorize. If you want to talk about gambling or your progress with this Rubik's Cube solution series, you should join my Discord. Here's a link. There's a link in the description. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, remember to like, subscribe. Always gamble responsibly, and peace out, donkeys.